A big thanks goes out to Bluetti for sponsoring this week's video. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another video. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Pretty exciting a trip, this one. I've come out to Strathcona Provincial Park, which I did a couple of videos of last year, and I'm going to do a hike tomorrow, a two-nighter up in the mountains. I'm really looking forward to that. I've come out to the main campground, just going to spend the night here and then start hiking up in the morning. Alright, while I set up my tent, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to put the old rice cooker on. I've got some I buy these quite often actually. They're like an Indian dish, but usually you cook them in the package, but I usually empty them out and then put them into a bowl and heat them that way. They're actually not too bad actually. But this will give me a good opportunity to talk about this week's sponsor, and that's Bluetti. This is the Bluetti Elite 100 V2, a portable power station with just over a kilowatt hour of capacity. It's built around the LiFePO battery cells, which are known for being safer, more stable, and lasting far longer than the standard lithium ion. The whole unit weighs about 25 pounds with a built-in handle, so it's easy enough to carry around, whether that's into a camper van, a cabin, or even out to a remote photo shoot. One of the biggest highlights here is the lifespan. Bluetti rates this for more than 4,000 charge cycles before it drops to 80% of its capacity. So in practical terms, that means you can use it every day for years before you start noticing any real decline. So for anyone who's looking for a reliable long-term power option, that's huge. In terms of power output, the Elite 100 V2 delivers up to 1800 watts continuously, with surge capabilities up to 2700. So that's enough to run most of the essentials, laptops, lights, a small fridge, even some small kitchen appliances if you need them. On the front of the panel, you've got plenty of options too: AC outlets, USB-A, USB-C, and DC ports, so you can keep multiple devices running at the same time. Where this unit really impresses is in its charging speed. Plug it into mains power and it'll go from 0 to 80% in around 45 minutes. That's huge. And that's all thanks to Bluetti's fast charge system. Out in the field, you can hook up solar panels. It accepts up to 1,000 watts of solar input, and in perfect conditions, you can top it up in just over an hour. And if you're on the road, it'll also charge from your vehicle's 12-volt system. Another nice feature is the built-in UPS function. If you're using it at home and the power cuts out, the Elite 100 V2 will switch over to battery power in about 10 milliseconds. That's quick enough to keep your computer, router, or even medical device running without interruption. No sudden shutdowns, no lost work. The Elite 100 V2 is also very quiet. Under lighter loads, it runs at around 30 decibels, which is basically a whisper. That makes it easy to live with in a tent, a van, or even a bedroom. And with its compact design and carry handle, it's genuinely portable, not something you dread moving around. So, to sum it up, the Bluetti Elite 100 V2 gives you a 1,000 watt-hour LiFePO battery, incredible fast charging, long cycle life, and versatile outputs, all in a package you can carry. It works just as well as a backup supply at home as it does on the road or out in the field. Ooh, that's a bit thick. Oh, good morning, everybody. It's looking a bit gloomy this morning. It was supposed to be sunny for the next few days, but it's a bit damp. It could be just fog. I hope so. I don't really want to spend a couple of wet days up in the Alpine. That wouldn't be much fun. It's quite nice around here. There's some really big old trees in here. Big old western red cedar. Some cedars behind me, and then the big leafed stuff here is Devil's Club, which is just, I mean, it's pretty to look at, but trying to hike through that is just horrible stuff because it's got all these little spikes up the stems and below the leaves. But nice stuff to look at. All right, I'm just going to have a quick breakfast, and then we'll pack up and head for the trail. Okay, now according to the map, this is a bit of a slog. I think it's, well, according to the trail, all trails, it's 1,600 meters, which is significant. And I haven't hiked for a while, except for Triple Peak, which was quite a while ago now. So I'm just going to take my time, go really slow, and I think the biggest concern is finding water. So I'm going to have to find a little, there is little ponds up there, so hopefully they're not all dried out. So anyway, let's get going. Okay, just to confuse things a little bit, I'm actually on my way down, but I photographed this vanilla leaf on the way up. I just took a quick shot handheld, and I really quite liked it, so I thought, well, when I come down, if I see it again, I'll get the tripod out and spend a little bit more time with it. And yeah, it's really quite beautiful with the browns and the leaves slowly decaying. I think it makes a pretty nice pattern shot. So here it is. Well, that was a nice little swim. Oh, I really needed that. Oof, it's been so hot up here today. So I've got my tent all set up. I'm pretty knackered actually, but I am going to go up. There's a hill behind me here. I'm going to go up and see if I can get any clear views from up there, and then possibly that way there. It's about 5:45, so sun's got a little ways to go before sunset. These mountains may get some nice light, so let's go and check it out up there. This is really nice. Nice little pond. There was quite a bit of cloud this morning, so I'm kind of hoping that we might get some fog or something up here. I mean, it's kind of a long shot, but this is quite nice. Reflections. Oh, my voice is going. So we can, this is just down from the tent. Beautiful. Oh, yeah, that's really nice. Looks like someone's camped here. Oh, that's a beautiful little spot. Maybe if I can get higher, I might be able to get a clear view of the pond and then the mountains beyond. That might be nice. The other really great thing about coming up this time of year is that there are no bugs. Last time I went out, the bugs were horrendous, but there's no bugs whatsoever. So that's one of the biggest joys of coming out to these places late summer, in the fall. All right, had a nice meal, and gonna head over to the ridgeline here. There's some really lovely layers in the mountains. The hard part is going to be getting high enough that I can clear the trees. Some nice light on this boulder here. It's kind of cool. I'm not going to take a picture of it though, just a boulder. So I made a bit of a boo-boo. When I first got up the hill here onto the ridge, there was a little pond there, and I stopped there for some water. And I have two main containers. I have one with the filter on, and then another one just a water container, and that's the larger one. Well, anyway, I made the mistake of leaving it at the lake, and the plan was to hike the ridge. The problem is that there's no water source, no good water source anyway, and that little filter I have, that's not going to be enough water for a day and a half. So I think I might have to bypass that, which is a bit of a drag. Anyway, it is what it is. It's a lovely evening. So yeah, I mean, because there's another 8 kilometers each way, so 16 kilometers with only 600 mils of water. That's just not going to cut it. And then if I camp, that's not going to cut it either. This is beautiful. Wow. I wonder if I can get some shots of this here with the trees in the front. Yeah, I'll just turn you around. That's beautiful. I think I spoke a bit too soon about the bugs. Bugs are starting to come out. This is the highest I can get. There's a few trees in the way, and I've tried to arrange it so that they look half decent, but they're pretty haphazard. So what I've decided to do is just concentrate on the layers. 65 by 24, so I can crop out some of the bottom, but I'm still getting some of those trees in, so I'm going to have to clone them out, I guess. Yeah, this is about the clearest area that I can find, which is really unfortunate because it's pretty spectacular. I think as the sun goes down, it's going to get quite warm and the layers should look really good. It'd be nice if we get the foreground in here, but it's quite busy, so the light on it's quite beautiful right now. Maybe I'll take a shot anyway. Yeah, I'll just take a shot anyway because the trees in the foreground do look beautiful. So 65 by 24 and then a wider view with some of these trees in the foreground. Let's see how those turn out. Oh, what a gorgeous evening. So we're just getting the last light. Quite like this scene right here. Got this foreground here, it's got some light on it, but there's a couple of trees, conifers in the middle, they've got some nice light on them, and then another rock that's quite prominent. The nice thing is that there's layers, so you have, not with everything, but with a lot of the stuff, it's light against dark, so you have that contrast. So I'm going to have to take this shot really quickly because, well, the light's fading, plus I'll have to focus that because I have the 35 to 70, I think I'm out at 40. Well, good morning everybody. Nice and early. Oh, it's so quiet up here. No birds or anything. No wind. Yeah, it's very surreal actually. Last night was a kind of a long night. Didn't sleep that well as usual when I'm outside, but oh, what a glorious, glorious morning now. The hard part is finding something to photograph. Like I said yesterday, because we're kind of on this ridge line, which is quite wide, it's hard to get to the edges. I've decided to come out this side this morning, but I'm not seeing very much to photograph right now. The other problem that we might have is there looks like there's some clouds out to the east. So I think what I'm going to do is, there's a little hill here, I'm going to hike up to that and hopefully get something from up there when the light comes over these mountains. Well, that's kind of cool. So I thought that the light was going to hit the hillside in the background at the same time as these, but the sun has come up through a notch, so there's a bit of a peak blocking the light on the hillside, but these trees in the foreground are getting some nice side light, so that's quite nice. The only problem with this is that the sky is just really bland and I'm having trouble with the exposure because that is very bright and the foreground it's quite bright, but it's not as bright as the sky. So I'm exposing for the foreground. I'm exposing for the sky. Sorry. So that means that the foreground is quite underexposed, but I can just lift up the shadows. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I love these little. Actually, there's a little backlit tree back there. If I can find some backlit trees, that might be quite nice. Because these conifers are very dark, but as soon as you get a bit of light on them, it really brings them to life, especially backlight. Anyway, I'll keep playing around and hopefully I can come up with a few more shots. So I've taken a pano here. The way that these are organized on their own is not great, so maybe if I can maneuver my position, maybe if I go over there looking into the shadows, that might be kind of cool as well. So we'll see if we can come up with something there. All right, I think I finally found a line of trees that works. It took me quite some time, and of course the sun's coming up quickly. The first shot was okay, but I kind of decided, well, the sun's pretty harsh, so I kind of gave up on the mountains. Decided to just shoot some backlit conifers, and we have the advantage of having this valley beyond that's in the shade, so I can shoot down into it and have these conifers quite nicely backlit. The hardest part is finding a grouping that works, because they tend to grow in clusters and they're very close together, so it kind of ruins the shape. But I found 3 of them here in the middle that are quite nice, and then the others are reasonably well separated. The hardest part is shooting right into the sun. So what I've decided to do is 65 by 24. That way I can crop out the top of the frame, and then I can put my hand in there to stop the lens flare, or help prevent the lens flare. The other nice thing about this scene is that there's a lot of dew on the ground, so that's heavily backlit as well. So that's a nice accent. Yeah, I think it'll work quite well. I mean, there is some compromises. There's a couple of trees that overlap with other ones, but of course if I move to try and separate them, then it just ends up ruining the shapes of some of the other trees. And the ones that are important to me are the 3 central ones. So yeah, I think it works pretty good. This is really cool. I was just heading back to my tent and I came across this tree with all this lichen hanging off it. What's really neat is the trees in the foreground here on the other side are catching the light, and they're bouncing light back into another tree behind it. So the lichen is quite a bit brighter than the foreground. So I've put on my 200mm lens and I've just zeroed in on those 4 trees. So it's more or less a close-up. That's quite good. The only thing is that it's really awkward doing a vertical on with this tripod and tripod head. But I think I've managed to do it. Plus, because I'm using quite a long focal length, I'm going to have to focus stack this one. Well guys, I think that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give us the old thumbs up. That's always appreciated. It's been a brilliant little holiday or adventure in the mountains. Light could have been a bit more exciting, but you know, it's still an awesome place to hang out. So I really don't have anything to complain about. All right guys, until next time, bye-bye.